Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. Alright, so in yesterday's video, I was watching this triangle pattern. We actually did break to the downside, but we didn't get like a huge breakout. So now I'm kind of looking at a different pattern. I think the pattern kind of changed. We had support, support, resistance, resistance, giving me that triangle pattern. And I was saying that if we break to the downside, then maybe we can look for a breakout. Maybe we can target from the top to the bottom of the triangle, drag that to the breakout, and look for a target of around 0.101. But it didn't really perform like that. We broke down, got a little bit of momentum to the downside, but then it got support and it kind of bounced back up. But we still have, it hasn't really broken out of the top yet either. We still have resistance, resistance, and it looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance at that level as well. So now I'm thinking the pattern kind of changed. Let's go ahead and find the bottoms of these, this new pattern, should I say. So we have support, 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 giving me, I don't know, it kind of looks like a falling channel, falling wedge a little bit. It's not getting that tight. It's kind of staying a little bit, as opposed to being like this, where it's getting tighter. It looks like it's kind of staying open a little bit, or wide, should I say. So yeah, this is the new pattern that I'm looking out for a breakout. Falling wedge, falling channel is kind of bullish. I mean, we're in a downtrend, but as soon as we break this top resistance line, then that could be a bullish signal. And then what I would do in that situation is basically the same thing as that triangle pattern, is drag from the bottom to the top, or the top to the bottom of that pattern, and then drag that to the breakout wherever we break out, and then we could be looking at a target, something like that. Like I said, it still looks like we're getting resistance right now. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to come back down, do something like this, and then maybe bounce, and then maybe break that up. But we're still not guaranteed to go up. We watch these patterns, we watch these trend lines, and then once we actually break them, then we can get more confident whether we're going up or if we're going down. Yesterday, we broke that trend line and we got a nice little break to the downside, but we found support in this area and got a bounce right away. So that's kind of what I'm looking at now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the moving averages, because we like looking at those on the channel. So we have the 9 moving average on the daily time frame right now. That is this blue line right here, the blue line. And when we are above it, we get support on it and bounce to the upside. We come into contact with it, bounce on it, come into contact. Well, this one broke through it, but when we broke back above it right here, we were contacting it, boom, 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 and then it was just pushing it to the upside. Back here, we broke below it, and then ever since then, we were coming into contact with it and getting pushed down. So we're below it, getting resistance going down. When we're on top of it, we get support pushing up. Right now, we are above that 9 moving average, and like I've been talking about on my channel, I like it when it forms like this scoop pattern as opposed to the roof pattern, something like that, where it comes in and it's like that, and then we have to come up and kind of break through it, as opposed to forming this thing when we can kind of go sideways into it and then break out. So this looks kind of decent, like the way this moving average formed, I think, on the daily time frame. Let's see what happens though. If we go to the weekly and the monthly, it looks a little bit different. The weekly looks pretty good still. Like I was saying, the 9 moving average, we have that little scoop pattern. We're still on top of the 9 moving average on the weekly time frame. And then if we go to the monthly time frame, this is where it kind of doesn't look that great. Is where the moving average is way up here, where the price is down here. It's going to take a little bit of momentum for us to break through it. And like I was saying, or like I've been talking about, I want to see the monthly do something like that. So we might be stuck in this little area for a little bit, in my opinion. I still have a target of 0. Let's see, where is it at? Let me go back to the daily time frame. I'm still looking at a target of around 0.092, somewhere around here. This previous bottom right here, it's possible that we come back down to the Fibonacci retracement level, sitting at around 0.084, where we came and bounced over here. But I don't know. This is the next spot that I'm looking at, that personally right here, this previous support. That's what I'm looking at as far as Dogecoin goes. But yeah, I think the main thing that I'm watching is the 4-hour time frame on tradingview.com. We have support, 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 resistance, resistance, and it looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance right here. I think personally that we might, I don't know if, okay, so we could break through it right here, but I think we're going to drop down and stay in this pattern for a little bit longer, but we'll see. If we break this going to the upside, then I would target from the top to the bottom of this wedge right here, drag that to the breakout, and that kind of takes us up to that Fibonacci retracement level. Let me do a little recap of the Fibonacci retracement levels. Let's go back to the daily time frame and let's zoom out. We had a nice little big run up right here, and then we started heading down. When we do that, I like to get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of that run to the top of the run, and then that gives me levels to watch as it goes down. So I like the 50% level. That's my favorite one actually. So we come up, once we think we hit the top, then we can sell, and then we could buy back up at the 50% level. I mean, this one came all the way down to the bottom of the trend over here, or not the trend, the run, should I say, that little bull run. And so we actually came back down, retraced all the way back down to the bottom of the run, and then that's where we got that little bounce. But in general, I like using these lines to trade off of. They can act as resistance, as we saw right here where we actually almost touched this one, got resistance, then came back down. It looks like we're getting a little bit of resistance right there. I think in general as well, if we could break through that Fibonacci retracement level going to the upside, then we could either look at the next Fibonacci retracement level, that's how I kind of like to do it, or that previous resistance right here. You could also see that when we bounced down here, we hit this Fibonacci retracement level. Not perfectly, we went a little bit below it, but once we did hit it, or after we kind of hit it and kind of came through it, then we came back up and hit that next one, kind of like I was talking about. If we could break this one, then maybe we could come back up here. And if we start coming up here, then it'll be a nice little run. And the other thing, like I was talking about in yesterday's video, is we have, if we zoom out and take a bigger picture, we have resistance. There was some resistance right here, but I don't know, kind of didn't hit that one perfectly, or we did, but like, watch, let me kind of readjust it. It was something like that. When we came up over here, we broke through it, but then kind of got rejected and got pushed down right at that Fibonacci retracement level. So going back to this downtrend, like I was talking about yesterday, we had resistance, giving me a downtrend, something like that. And then we broke that one going sideways. So in my yesterday's video, I was wondering how far are we going to go sideways, like we did in back here where we had a big, huge downtrend. Let me zoom out. Let's see, something like this, something like that. Or you could probably adjust this to maybe something like this more, with where there's more contacts, because we want to use. So we had resistance, we had a downtrend, and then we broke through it going sideways. And then after that, we were able to get little pops. We got a little pop right here, and then we've been kind of going sideways, or we were going sideways until just recently. I think it was like last year or this year. Let's see, what day is it? It was in February. We got this nice little pop right here. So I'm wondering if we can get another little pop over here. Let me readjust that. Let me delete these real quick. Whoops. Let me delete these green lines. 1, 2. Okay, so what I was saying is we broke the downtrend. Let's see how far we can go. Let's see how long we're going to go sideways. I'm kind of curious, because I think now that we broke the downtrend, we have a better chance of going up. We got a nice little pop right there, but we got rejected at that 180 moving average. I like looking at the moving averages, the 9 moving average, that blue line that I was just talking about, and then also the 180 moving average. And it's kind of the same thing. If we're below the 180 moving average as well, it's not as good as when we break above it. We broke above it right here, and that's when we got that huge bounce to the upside. I mean, we were kind of going in and out of it, so it's not perfect every time, but it's a good signal if we are above it as opposed to below it like we are right now. I like watching the 180 and the 9 moving average on these charts on the different time frames. The higher the time frame we go, so we have 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. The higher it is on that time scale, then the better it is. And I think the daily is really important. Usually the daily 9 moving average comes into play. Actually, both of them, the 9 moving average and the daily, moving average and the 180 moving average. As you can see right here on the daily time frame, that's where we got that resistance right on that 180 moving average. I was kind of wondering back here, are we going to be able to break through it? No, we got rejected and went down. So yeah, those are the things that I'm looking at. And like I said just a little bit ago, I'm watching the 4-hour time frame right now. We have this little falling wedge, falling channel, and it looks like we're testing that resistance though. So let's say if it can break to the upside. If it does, like I said, I would target from the top to the bottom of that little channel, that little wedge, drag that to the breakout, and that gives me a target of approximately 0.11433. You could also drag this to the downside though. Until we break out of this pattern, especially with some volume, the volume's been declining. Once we can get some volume, then we can get more confident. So we break out, we look for volume. If the volume's spiking, then that means that we're getting a breakout. If it's not, then it's a possibility that's a fake out. So we're still doing declining volume, like I've been talking about in my videos the last couple of days. That's why I've been kind of sticking with that .092 target. But yeah, I mean, we're testing it. So let's see what happens. Let's go to the daily time frame again. We're above the 9 moving average on the daily, so that's a good thing. And like I was telling you, we're kind of going into the 9 moving average kind of sideways where it's doing this. We've been kind of testing it. Now it looks like we're above it. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going to the upside. I had a small short on Robinhood, but at the same time, I have a big position in Coinbase. So I'm kind of playing both sides. I was kind of hedging my bets. I was just kind of playing around. I thought when we started dipping down over here, then we were going to continue to go down because we had also broken a uptrend. Let me show you what I was looking at on that one. So we had support, support, support. Let me draw that uptrend real quick. Actually, we could probably get rid of this one for now because that's that zoomed out bigger downtrend. But I was watching this, and then once we broke this uptrend going to the downside, that's when I figured that's what I thought we might be coming back down to this bottom down here where we got that previous support. Oh yeah, so that's basically what I'm looking at. Let's see if Dogecoin can come back to the upside though. I think if we could break that Fibonacci retracement level like I was just talking about, then we can start getting more bullish. Maybe we could look at this target, maybe look at this target or this Fibonacci retracement or the previous resistance and target those if we could break that. But it's also possible that we get rejected at that level as well. So yeah, I'm still looking at .092 as far as the Robinhood trade goes. But in general, I wouldn't, if the Robinhood trade doesn't work out and we continue to head up, then that's great too. I was kind of thinking maybe I should do a short just so that way it can go up. You know what I mean? You know how when that happens, when you put in a position, either downside or if you sell and you think it's going to go to the downside, and then it just goes to the opposite way. Let me show you my other little Dogecoin chart. This is where I actually shorted it. That red line right here sitting at around, I don't know if this is exactly where I sold it, but it was somewhere around .105. Yesterday we came in, we broke below it, and I was like, oh cool, we're starting to head towards my target. And then it got support again. Or maybe it was right here. We're on the daily time frame. Let's go back to the 4-hour. It was right here. We started to go below it. I was like, cool, now we're starting to go towards my target. Nope, got support right on that level and bounced to the upside. Yeah, actually let's go ahead and drag this one up a little bit. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that it's going to go down there, but I'm still kind of confident because of that declining volume. I try not to say that I'm absolutely sure whether it's going to go one way or the other because I don't want to influence anyone on making choices, but that's what I'm doing. And like I said, we have declining volume. Once we get spikes in the volume, whether it be green or red, then we can make a better decision, or at least we'll have a better idea of where it's going. It's still declining volume and we're heading to the downside. So, I mean, not downside, we're kind of technically going up, but we are in this little falling channel pattern, which I said is actually good though. We just need to break that top resistance line and then break to the upside, and then it can start getting more bullish. I would like to see some green candles spike to the upside as well though. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at on Dogecoin today, guys. If you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to watch the last video, check it out right here. There's a playlist right here if you're new to trading or looking at charts in general. All right, if you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.